And we'll take our hands to the side ribs. Now, if this bothers your shoulders or your neck, you could also do it like this, right? So you could fold arms. So just see what feels better, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna take about 5 slow breaths, trying to feel the ribs expand outward. So on the inhale, right? The inhale is the expansion. And then exhale, you could exhale blowing out through pursed lips or long ujjayi exhale, and feel the ribs going inward. Of course, it's the whole torso expanding 3-dimensionally. We're just focusing on this area right now. So inhale, it's like they're going out, opening like an umbrella. And exhale, going in. And it takes some practice, especially if you've been breathing differently a lot of your life, right? So don't worry if you're not feeling a lot. And relax your arms whenever you're ready. You can imagine, when we get stressed and we might gasp, right? Or breathe in quickly, and it's like this. And so instead of this expansion, it's like an upward breath, and it does tighten these accessory breathing muscles, which are up here, but they're just meant to be accessory muscles. Like when you need to get more oxygen, they're not meant to be your primary breathing muscle, right? But they tend to get really tight. So that can be another cause of neck tension. All right, now let's take your head to look down toward your left armpit. So your nose pointing down to your left armpit. And we'll take the right arm up toward the ceiling and then bend the elbow. You're not going to push into the head. You're just kind of reaching it up. And you can dip the nose down toward that left armpit any amount. Breathing and noticing how that feels on the side of your neck there. About 5 slow breaths. You can even nod a little bit down there, turn the chin. Good. And coming up whenever you're ready, back to the center, noticing the 2 sides. So just pausing. And then turning the head to the right, and then nose dips down toward the armpit. And reach the left arm up and the elbow, take it behind the head or neck. About 5 slow breaths here, noticing what this side is like. And then slowly releasing back to the center, softening your jaw. Just inhale, rolling the shoulders up. Exhale, squeeze them together, drawing down your back. And again. And we're going to take the legs out in front and the arms out in front. You can always sit on something here too, okay? So you can be upright. Inhale here, and as you exhale, let's open up the right arm and turn the head as well, as much as feels okay, to twist around. And notice where, if the neck wants to go all the way. And then inhale back, and we'll just do both sides. You can go at your own pace here. I'm gonna go back and forth a couple times. Notice if your neck needs to stop, if it doesn't need to follow the hand all the way. Okay. If you find that you're rounding through the low back, you can always sit on your ball. It's a little tippy, but it's kind of fun, or a blanket. Okay, now just bringing back to center, coming back to center, resting the arms for a moment and shake it out a little bit. Now we're going to do just the arm, just the upper back. So we'll leave the head forward and do the same thing. And just notice how your upper back feels. So you can use your exhale or your inhale and just open up, keeping your eyes forward. Yeah. And you might be limited in your upper back and shoulders, and you might not. So noticing that, and any different side to side. Good. And then coming back to center, so letting your arms come down. Let's come onto our hands and knees and can set these balls off to the side. We're going to do our protract and retract of the shoulder blades that we've been doing. So you're on hands and knees. And to help yourself not elevate the shoulder blades, we're just going to relax the neck. Okay, so your head can hang. And see if you can squeeze those shoulder blades together and then widen them apart without rounding the spine, and repeat. So you inhale, squeeze them together, and exhale. It doesn't actually matter the pattern of breath, okay? Just breathing when it feels right to you. Yeah, so by strengthening and engaging other muscles that support the spine, the head, and the neck, you can also help to release tension, right? So you get out of your habitual clenching by focusing on different muscle groups that can support your posture and alignment. Good, you guys. Now remember, you can always do this. I don't know if we've done it in this group or not, but you could always add a little core work in by floating the knees a couple inches off the floor and doing the same thing. Just be sure to keep the neck relaxed so you're using the other muscles, your rhomboid, your serratus anterior. Keep breathing. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe. Okay. And then you can come down when you're ready and just reach the arms forward, puppy dog pose. However you want to do it, with the arms and upper back. Your head can come down. Some people like to put their chin down. That's one version of the posture, but that takes the neck into extension. So you just see if that feels good to you or not. And breathe. As you breathe here, can you get that same sensation of the ribs opening laterally as you inhale? And then as you're ready, let's come up to the hands and knees again, and we're going to come onto our bellies into Sphinx pose. You can always prop the fronts of your ankles with a rolled up blanket or your hips. And to start, let's just look down between our arms and bring your elbows forward, like below your elbows. That's it, even a little higher. Now, if this isn't feeling good on your low back, so see how my elbows are actually ahead of my shoulders. If that doesn't feel good on your low back, it's too much, you could always take the elbows wide and stack them like this, okay? Stack hands, I mean. All right, so for the neck, let's first go into extension, kind of looking up. Inhale there and exhale down. So you're, again, noticing your range, not pushing anything. And then you can come back to what you feel like is neutral in the neck, and then go side, looking to one side and then the other. Softening your jaw. Good. And now let's just come to center, whatever feels best on your neck. I'm going to press the pubic bone down so you turn on your glutes, and press into the elbows and spread across the collarbones. Feel like you're stretching the front of your abdominals as you do that. And notice where you want to look with the head. Like, do you want to look forward more? Or does it feel better to look down for you? Keep breathing. Good. And now we'll slowly come down, and the position we'll take is elbows wide. We're going to put the right hand on top of the left and the forehead on top of the right hand. Okay, we're going to think of your head like it's on a platter on your hands, okay? Hopefully that's not too morbid for you, okay? Okay, now from here, let's just lift, inhale, lift just the right elbow off the floor. And exhale, put it down. I'm just going to do that about 3 or 4 times. So just the elbow, the right elbow. So your right hand is on top and your right elbow is lifting and then coming down. So you're noticing what your shoulder range is there without moving anything else. That's it. Got it, you guys. Okay, now we're going to rest the elbow down. And now now the head on the platter is going to come into play. Okay, so I want you to really relax your neck if you can. For people with chronic neck stuff, this can be really challenging to do. But I'm going to lift my elbow and my hand and my head as though my head's on a platter. So I'm not going to use my neck muscles at all. I'm going to lift up, my pubic bone's pressing down, and I'm going to exhale, lower back down. Any amount is okay. And if you find that you're getting into neck tension, then don't lift. Just do the elbow or just try to do it. I'm just going to check you guys out here. So you're not, yeah, you guys are doing great. You're not looking forward, right? You're staying looking down. And can you feel your back muscles really working to support you here? And if it's hard, that's really good information for you, right? You're like, oh, wow, I cannot get my neck to turn off, right? Or wow, my back muscles are weak. I can barely lift. And then rest. Okay. You can wiggle your hips to rest. You can do whatever you want. And just notice. So it's just information for you about your patterns. This is a little somatic work, not the nervous system. Well, it is the nervous system. It's all the nervous system, right? Yeah. Let's put the left hand on top. Okay. And we're going to start with just the elbow. Okay. So just several lifts, just the elbow lifts up, the elbow goes down. Okay. And notice the muscles you use to do that. What happens with the shoulder blade too? Like, do you notice that the shoulder blade is also having to move inward, like a slight retraction as you're lifting? And that might be limiting. And then after you've done several with just the elbow, you can prepare for your platter lifts, head on a platter, right? And see how that feels. Press the pubic bone down so you've got your core stable here. So you're not going too much into the low back. You might also notice that the bottom arm is stabilizing you, right? So you're using that bottom arm to stabilize, to keep you centered as you come up. So it's all connected. Noticing you're not trying to push anything or force anything, and you're breathing. Good, and then rest. Come down, put your arms however you want to now. Let's bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet side to side. Good, and we'll come back to the center and into Sphinx pose when you're ready. Now, I know we've been practicing forearm plank, and I think we've gotten into it a couple of different ways. The way I'm about to show is not always the best for everybody because it takes a lot of core and it takes a lot of ability to be able to tuck the tail without hurting your low back. Okay, so you have to have enough. So if you're like, no, as soon as I do this, start going into forearm plank from here, I feel it in my back. If that's true for you, I want you to come into forearm plank from your knees and just walk back. Okay, so just do what's right for your body. I'll talk people through this way. Okay, so what you're going to do here is start to exhale, engage the lower abdominals more so that they start to lift away from the floor, and so do your ribs. And then you'll be with hips off the floor, but think tail is going toward knees. And you can stay on your knees. And my core feels like it's engaging so much. That's the feeling you're going for. Okay. And then when you're ready, you could always lift the knees if it's appropriate for your body. You don't have to. You don't want to feel any pain in your low back as you're doing this. So keep tucking the tail so you can get the action of the abdominals engaging more, protracting the shoulder blades, which you're all doing right now. So nice work. And feel like you're moving your armpits towards your feet. You turn that core on more. And if you can't get there, just come to knees and try it. Good, you guys. Come down into puppy dog whenever you want to be finished. You can stay longer. You can, go for a minute if you want and stay there. You can come back to it if you want and keep breathing. And if you're taking a break and you want to do a second round, go for it. Come up into a second round of forearm plank. You don't have to come from your belly. You can just come right from your knees and go into it. And this time, let's really focus on the wide shoulder blades. So it's like the space between my shoulder blades. If I put my hand on it, yeah, that's it. It would push up to the ceiling, right? If I put my hand right between your shoulder blades, it would be like you're pressing up, you're really pressing down into those elbows, you're breathing strongly. And whenever you're ready to be done, you can go back into your downward dog or your puppy pose. So if you want to go into down dog, go for it. Move around however you'd like to. You can let your hips sway if you're in down dog or puppy. Can let the neck relax and release. Good. Explore, right? Let yourself explore in whatever position you want to be. If you're in down dog, imagine that your head, I really like this one. I don't know if it'll work for you or not, but because visualizations work for different people, right? Different kinds. But I like to imagine my head, it's like it's a piece of fruit that's ready to come off of the tree. It's just hanging there, right? It's ready to go. And it's letting it really soften. You might even, in down dog, you might even move your head a little side to side or up and down. Keep softening the jaw. And we're going to meet in a forward fold. So if you're on your knees, you just come onto your feet anywhere on your mat in a forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you'd like to. And I'm going to give a couple of options for a neck release here. So one option would be to interlace your fingers and take your hands to the back of your skull, kind of wrapping the elbows around, getting a little traction through the neck. Or some people like to do this little hair pull thing where you take your hands, if you got hair, and kind of tug it down. So that could be an option too. Or you could just let it hang and move your head around. Good. Keep breathing. And if you want to be upright, you can be upright. You don't have to be in a forward fold. Feeling your breath go in and feeling your breath go out. And then when you're ready to come up to standing, you could either roll up and letting your arms ragdoll style, or you could reach your chest forward and reverse swan dive up, whatever feels right in your body. And when you get all the way up to standing, let's swing and twist. So you can find some space with your neighbor so you won't smack them. And try looking around, not making your neck tense by any means, but twisting around and looking behind you. Letting your arms be like wet noodles flopping around. All right, I'm coming back to the center here. I'm just gonna inhale and take your arms forward, rounding your spine. You can tuck your chin. And then as you exhale, let's open up the arms and lift the chest, squeeze the upper back, and repeat. Now, the breath doesn't have to be like this. It could be the opposite. It could be exhale forward, inhale back. Okay, so see what feels right today. So often that neck tension will also happen from this upper back being tense or tight too. You can move a little. This can be big or this can be small. This is a great one to do if you've been sitting for a while. You can do it at a desk or in a chair. Good. Now the next time you open up, let's just bring the arms down. Shake out a little bit. We'll come toward the front of the mat, and you can bring your blocks up there if you got a couple blocks. You could also use a chair if you prefer. You might want some knee padding because we are gonna come into a lunge, so you can get that set up if you want it. Feet parallel, wiggle around a little bit. And just being in standing, can you notice how your neck feels right now, how your shoulders feel? You know, sometimes when you start working on it, it's aggravated more. So you might notice that. You might notice it feels good. You might not notice it much at all. Okay. Feel all of your toes. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, let's hinge at the hips and fold. And inhale to extend your spine forward, keeping the neck in neutral. Exhale, let's take the left leg back and drop the knee down to your blanket. We'll come up into a half kneel as you inhale and tuck the tail. Good. Exhale. Good. Then let's do the same thing we did before. So let's take the arms in front and inhale and round, or you can exhale, it doesn't matter actually. And then open up. I think I actually like to inhale when I do this. And then exhale and round. Again, do it as big or small as you want to. Let's just do two more. Good. And now we'll come down into a lunge. So let your hips come forward. You might walk the knee a little bit forward, taking your left hand to the floor, right hand to your thigh, and a gentle twist to the side. Following your breath in and out, noticing where your neck wants to be. Good. And then let's exhale back to center and step yourself back to downward dog or puppy pose. Softening the jaw, softening your face. In fact, if you're in down dog, can you look back just between your feet or your legs, wherever your eyes are looking, and try to really soften your eyes. So you don't have a hard focus. And notice if you can allow in more of the periphery, going into this divergent vision, which tends to go along with calming the nervous system. Good. And then let's inhale to bend the knees. You might bring them to the floor, or you might just step the left leg forward. Dropping the back knee down, rising up to a half kneel. We'll inhale to tuck the tail. Good. Exhale there. Then do something different this time. We'll start hands here in front. We'll inhale and exhale, twist open like we did in our seat. You can look with your head or not, see what you want to do, and then come back to the center and go the other way. And just notice the difference between the sides too, right? My neck is way different side to side, but you might also find that your upper back is different side to side. Good. And then when you come back to center, let's lunge again, coming down. We'll go to that same simple twist here. Right hand to the floor, left hand to your thigh. Look wherever feels best on your neck. Follow breath in and out. And again. And then on your exhale, untwisting, hands can find your blocks or the floor as you inhale to lift back knee. And exhale, step forward. You could always float the back leg. That can be a fun thing to do. Lift it up and bring it forward. When you get there, let's inhale, extend the spine forward. Exhale, this time let's bend the knees like you're in Utkatasana, and then inhale, rise. Now let's bring the hands through the center. Exhale and down. Nice. From here, let's just move our blankets off so they don't get in your way. Throw them to the side. And we'll start at the front of the mat. Gosh, never enough time. Okay, inhale, stand tall. Exhale, let's step the right leg back, warrior one pose. I'm gonna do warrior one with our feet hips distance in this version, okay? Shift the left hip back if you can. Good. Now let's inhale, open up the arms, and exhale, let's take left arm on top of right, either for a hug or for eagle arms. Okay, so you can be here or you can be here, okay? Whichever one you're in, let's breathe into the upper back and try to release tension around your neck, right? So allow this area, the upper traps, to relax downward. You know, often in this pose, we lift the elbows up, but only do that if you're not going up and you're not elevating the shoulders, okay? Squeeze it into the midline, the arms, and breathe. Now, this is just an option. Some of you can step forward on an exhale to Utkatasana legs. That's like a chair pose, right? Others might like to step forward into eagle pose. So you cross that back leg over the front. Okay, so you can do either one or neither. Okay, and breathe. I usually have this little block set up. I forgot about that part. It's kind of nice as a little kickstand. Good. And breathe. How's your neck feeling? Breathe into that upper back. Now, regardless of what your legs are doing, we can try to fly away. So we're going to inhale, open up the arms, maybe kick the leg forward. And then exhale, come down. Just shake it out a little bit. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale down the back. This time, let's inhale and take the block. Yes, the block. Let's do that and put it on the right side. It can be medium or low height. That's gonna be our little kickstand if you're trying eagle, okay? And now let's inhale, arms up, and exhale, step left leg back, warrior one. We're gonna bring the arms out to the sides, inhale, and exhale, right arm on top of left for hug or eagle. Good. So remember, our purpose here is to try to breathe space into the upper back, right? To stretch out this whole upper back area without creating neck tension. So you can do it however you want with that as your focus. You can squeeze the elbows in, you can lift the elbows high, that works for you. Softening your jaw. And then if and when you want to move, you start to shift that weight forward to the front foot, and you can step into Utkatasana or Garodasana, which is eagle pose. And you can use your toes if you want on your little kickstand. And if you're doing Garodasana, it can be fun to squeeze everything into the midline. It's like this big constriction and squeeze with your limbs, so that when we fly away, it's like a sudden release of that. So when you're ready to fly away, you can inhale, open everything up, maybe kick the leg forward, and exhale, bring it down. Good. And then you can either hula hoop or you can swing and twist. And now let's inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hinge and fold. Let's pause in a forward fold again. If forward fold doesn't feel good in your body today, you can choose a seated pose. If it does feel okay, feel free to move around. You could do your neck traction behind the skull, or you could just let your arms hang, or even take your hands into the creases of your elbow, creating a little more weight to release your spine. Following your breath in and following your breath out. And then slowly letting the arms come down. We're going to wiggle into our squat again, like we've been coming down for this whole series, I think. So you can remember, you can stack your blocks and sit on them, right? You can do that. You could also take a blanket below the heels or behind your knees, or you could come into Malasana if that's a good pose for you. Let's try this pose today with our elbows pressing into our knees. So you can even do that on the blocks, right? Yeah. Good. Just opening up through the chest. So how much lift can you find through the upper back, right? Instead of this, how much lift? Good. Feel the palms of the hands touching, little wrist extension happening. Breathing. And then from here, you could let that left arm come down, and right arm could either open up with a bent elbow, or it could come to your knee. You can see what feels better. You can take the neck there or not. Good. And then coming back to the center, and we'll just switch sides, okay? So other side, you can touch the floor if you're in Malasana, or you can just reach downward and open up the upper back. Good. And then coming forward again. If you're still okay in your squat, you can stay here. You could always change positions too. Now let's round. Breathing into that upper back. Letting your jaw soften. Good. And then slowly, hands to knees. Inhale. Let's come back up. Good. Good. And now exhale. Let's come down onto the floor. Straighten out your legs. Well, now I have all this energy. Now I'm ready for a full vinyasa practice. You guys ready? Sorry, we don't have time. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. But no, we're going to do some breath work here. So the purpose of how you're going to sit for the next few minutes is going to be to have yourself as upright as possible. So if that means going to a chair, please grab a chair and sit in it, okay? Or if that means putting your back against a wall, do that. Sitting on your bolster, do that, okay? Anything that allows you to feel comfortable with your shoulders over your hips. It's really about your rib cage being stacked over your pelvis so that your breath is most efficient. And then just kind of wiggle around. And I know it's not super comfortable. You don't have to have your legs straight. Did I mention that? That you don't have to have your legs straight. Yeah, you're doing breath work, so please take your legs however you want. Okay, could be any way you want. Okay. And then just sigh. You can have your eyes open or closed. And you get the idea of the back of your head lining up with your upper back and your rib cage lined up over your pelvic bowl. And as you inhale, feeling your whole torso expand three-dimensionally, we're envisioning that. And as you exhale, relaxing your shoulders. And noticing how your nervous system feels right now, how your mind feels without any judgment, right? Being aware. And adjusting for any physical comfort. And we're going to do a little bit of Nadi Shodona practice, which is an alternate nostril breathing. And what Nadi Shodona means is really a cleansing of the nadis, which are channels. It's like meridians in Chinese medicine, if you're familiar with that at all. It's kind of the subtle body in these ancient medicine practices, right? So it's kind of cool. It feels, I really love this practice. It can be a little challenging to get it first. You might get tension in the shoulder when you do it. So if it becomes difficult or it doesn't feel right, you can also just visualize it. So I'll explain how to do that too. All right. The way you do this is you take your dominant hand and we'll be blocking off nostrils. So I'm right-handed. So that means when I bring my hand up, I'm going to block my right nostril with my thumb, and I'm going to block my left nostril with my pinky or my index or both. I mean, ring or both. Okay, so you can kind of get a feel for that. I'll get some tissues out. And the other two fingers could either just kind of fold in to the hand, or they could even, sometimes people put them up into the chakra point between the eyebrows. So you could always do that as well, okay? So you can get a feel for what is right for you, right? So this is where we get a lot of tension here, right, in the shoulder. So you can relax the shoulder. Sometimes people do it with their elbow on a table, or you could hold it with the other hand. We're not going to do it that long. I'm just trying to give you a feel for it so you can practice it on your own. So first, to begin, just relax and notice how the breath is moving through your nose. You know, so instead of using any throat breath like ujjayi breathing, you're breathing through the nose, through the nostrils. And you might find it's one side is more open than the other side. So the purpose of this practice, this cleansing of the channels, is about the kind of the yin and the yang, even though that comes from another tradition, but the female and the male represented energies within us. Okay, and I'll speak to that a little bit. So bring your hand up, and when you're ready, we're going to close the right nostril and inhale through the left nostril until your breath is full without creating stress. And then you block the left and exhale out the right nostril until the breath is empty. When it's empty, no rush, you'll inhale right, again, till it's full. And then you close the right and exhale left. And you continue in this way, switching sides when the breath is full. So after the inhale is when you switch. Try to relax through your jaw and your shoulders. Now I'm going to add in a little visualization. So I'll get us all to the same point. So when we're going to start, next time you exhale left. So I'm just going to wait a moment for people to get there, no rush. You could always rest if you're already there, just resting your arm. And then when you're ready, when you inhale through the left, Just imagine a silvery stream of light. This is the lunar side coming in, calming, relaxing, moving in through the nose up toward that space between your eyebrows. And then when you block left and exhale through the right, you can imagine that same moonshine type light, silvery stream of light coming out the right. And then when you inhale right, it's a sunlight. So a warm, glowing light coming in through the right, this kind of activating, energizing. And then when you exhale left, it's that same solar light coming out through the left. And so I'll explain one more round. So inhaling left, it's the silvery lunar aspect, calming, restoring, intuitive. And you exhale that lunar light out the right. And when you inhale right, it's that solar, warm, glowing, energizing, enthusiastic energy coming in. And you exhale left, that same solar. And you could try one or two more rounds. You can always let the arm go if it's becoming tense and just do the visualization. And when you're ready to be finished after an exhale on the left, no rush, pause and notice how you feel with just a really brief Nadi Shodona. There's been a lot of research on this type of breath work. I haven't looked into all the studies myself, just at what people are saying about them, but just the effects for asthma, they're really good for calming and for balance and stress, just feeling more relaxed and calm. I find it helps me with headaches. We're going to